Up. All right, everybody, welcome back to Everyday Talks with your hosts, Aiko.
And Psycho.
And today we've got two special guests, Fronter and Nacho Supreme. And we will be
Or Nacho
continuing.
Grande.
Ooh, delicious. So that means we can eat them after the show. All right.
Hey, I'm down for that. Live with
Cannibal
cannibalism, never hurt
zombies.
anyone.
I mean, yeah, we're like right along in that field. Cannibalism, zombies, and Nacho Grande.
And we will be continuing in the zombie apocalypse. This is part 3. As per usual, we will be going from the actual subject to some random BS because that's how our show goes. And it's awesome. It's worth it.
That is how we do it. That's
That
what we
is.
do. Welcome to a day in the life of Psycho and Aiko.
Day in the life of, yeah. Without face cams or anything, you don't actually get to see what we do in our lives because no.
Aiko would probably be in jail or getting a butt probe from an alien.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified when our next videos go live and or come out.
Or when we drop new content.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I forgot my part. My bad.
Alrighty, so last we left off, we kind of went over everything and then BS'd about aliens and other random things. So let me start off with asking our two guests today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think you would do surviving an actual zombie apocalypse? And I want to get two answers for two variants of that. The one is obviously walking zombies that, unless you're hoarded, would essentially not be too big of a threat if you have the proper weapons. Or two, the crazy running ones that are weirdly powerful, strong.
So like
just
rage
chase you
zombies
down.
from the
Yeah.
20-week clear, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or
basically,
World
we're
War
giving
Z
two
zombies.
judgment scores. One of them based on being slow zombies that hoard up, and the second one being zombies that you run up on you and are kind of smart.
Yeah, break down your doors, kind of thing. Will crash through your windows, chase you down at such high speed because they don't need to breathe. Essentially, they can run forever. They don't get
Okay.
worn out.
Like I Am Legend. Those zombies were cray cray. And they were bald. Like, what happened to their hair? I'm just saying.
They might as well
If-
have been
if-
vampires. Honestly, they just burned in the sun.
Yeah.
All right, so
if
I
I
would guess
do
I will
remember
be the
according to
first.
lore, like
I'll
wasn't
be the
wasn't
first
the
to respond to this
infection
question.
like part of the cure for cancer in that movie? Like it was a supposed cure for cancer, but then the infection just mutated from there.
Huh.
Yeah, that movie was whack. But we got to go back to Aiko. So if you're dealing with, say, Walking Dead zombies, Fronter and Nacho, how likely are you to survive that, do you think?
Okay, I think, like, depending on the climate, as we had talked about before, and like where you're living, if you're living in a densely populated area and we're having a zombie apocalypse, that means that the majority of people have actually died and are probably still wandering around that area. So I would put my chances between like a 1 and maybe a 4 in a densely populated area. If I could get like out into the woods or something, far away from civilization, and learn how to survive on that and like build a treehouse or something, I think I could go up to a 10. With running and crazy zombies, I think it would still stay between the two. It would stay somewhere between like a 1 and a 4, maybe a 5 if I'm outside of a mostly populated area. Because I can only run for a short time. I've got asthma. I'm gonna get worn out. I'm gonna get chased down, and I'm gonna get eaten. So I'd rather not have my guts pulled out. I'll probably just pull the trigger myself somehow. And if I have a blunt weapon or something, you know, at the very least, I could probably knock myself unconscious so that I don't have to feel it while they are eating me. If I can hit myself that hard.
But then you're going to end up being a walker. You don't want to be a zombie.
Well, as we pointed out the last time, your spirit doesn't remain here, so you don't have to worry about just like being inside your own body, not actually viewing everything and witnessing everything because you're dead. That's the whole point of a zombie.
Yeah.
It's a dead walking corpse.
Now, but I know both Nacho and Fronter are both in. I know Fronter's in a larger city, Nacho's in a medium-sized city. So I'm curious to hear what they have to say about survival. Let's start with Walking Dead zombies. Hey, you guys, how well do you think your chances would be, and why? Fronter, Nacho.
Want to hear from me?
Yeah. What do you think your chances are of survival? We lost Fronter. We'll have to get him back.
If they were Walking Dead type zombies, I firmly believe that I have a 10 out of 10 survival rate. That'd be easy. I'm armed enough. I have enough places to go to. We have enough firepower to take over the government.
I like the way you think.
If it was zombies that were, just like the super smart zombies that were able to come after you, plot, and come at you when you're sleeping, I think my survival chances would be either a 7 or an 8 out of 10. That would be kind of iffy. That'd be rough. Trying to save people, there would be a ton of moral choices that would have to be made. It would be absolutely rough for everybody.
But the moral choices on saving people, that's a good question.
That's a really good brought
Which
up.
after Fronter goes, I have one other question then because that's a good point. But Fronter,
All right.
did we lose
Fronter?
you?
You still here, buddy?
Fronter. Okay, we've got to get Fronter back.
Well, we want
If
to
you
move
can
on
hear
with
us,
some
go
more
ahead and
questions.
leave real quick and join back real fast. Okay, but the
Sometimes
other
that
question
happens.
with the moral choices, we pointed out that, like, especially in a Walking Dead scenario, your worst thing would probably be humans, because
Yeah.
someone's going to want to be in power, or there might be multiple people fighting for power, and it could end up as like a dictatorship kind of situation where like you have just one person ruling over you. You don't follow the rules, they kill you.
Okay,
Exactly.
now?
Yes, we've got you back. Welcome back,
Awesome.
Fronter.
I don't know why my audio keeps on dropping out like this.
I
That's
have
okay.
no
Yeah.
idea.
If it happens again, just do the same thing. Pop out and then pop back in. It usually takes care of it. Now,
Okay, for my answer is because I live in St. Louis, which is highly dense. I live in a very specific part of St. Louis. There's a lot of weaponry already available to me.
Okay.
And plus, I'm currently living on a very, very fortified government facility already. So, I have a chance to possibly survive the first onslaught, like, that first day of where everything goes to shit.
Okay.
And from
All
there,
right.
if I'm not, shot in the face by a staff member trying to save themselves, I have a chance of getting out of the city alive.
all right.
Okay.
Legit. And
Very
what about with the other zombies? The I Am Legend zombies or the
I'm dead. I'm taking myself out first. Like, I'm dealing with that shit. I don't get paid enough of it.
World War Z zombies? They were going right through windshields, like smash, boom, they're in. I'm like, whoa.
All you gotta do is you have to have a sickness, then you're pretty much freaking invisible to them.
That was the kick butt part of that whole movie, was that to get like some sort of sickness, and then they just leave you be. They're like, oh, you're not tasty, you got bird flu.
I'm pretty sure that during the pandemic right now, if it wasn't, the big C that was causing the zombies, I think that a lot of people might be safe.
Okay. Ooh, you know what? I have one other scenario then. Okay. Dying
we were
Light
gonna talk about
2 zombies, because that was a crazier thing where you can turn. You're all infected, and you can all turn essentially at a moment's notice. The whole thing protecting you because you are infected is UV rays. So you have to stay within a UV lighting area because your character in the game, when he runs into a low lit area, you have this little bar showing how much time you have in there before you turn yourself, which is game over.
Okay, fun fact. I still haven't played 2, despite having beaten and am getting close to 100% the original.
hmm
I have not actually played any of 2 yet, but I really want to play it. It seems really fun.
Okay, then let's base it off of the first one. Then, how do you think your chances would be in that kind of scenario? The knight is obviously far more dangerous. They have the nightmares or whatever they're called, and the bolters and stuff. Which, even though they run away from you, ooh, excuse me, um, you're gonna have that to look out for.
Dun dun dun. What was the question?
How would your chances be surviving that? Especially if you're looking at Dying Light 2, where everyone's infected. They all have to wear these bands on their arm, and essentially, if someone's in the dark for too long, they turn into a zombie. And I don't know if they can turn back after daylight hits, or if they're done for. I haven't got far enough yet for that. But if you're in the darkness too long, it shows that little bar showing basically how long you have before you turn.
Oh, that's nuts. I don't want to play that game ever. Just putting that one out there. There's too much pressure.
Don't
Well,
worry, I'll
given-
play it. You can comment on it.
I'll comment. I got comments for everything. I think we all know this.
Okay, man. Aiko has not screwed the game. You guys can still hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we lose Nacho? Nacho?
Okay, so I'm saying that because I am already, I can understand like Dying Light 2 in the original Dying Light, you kind of, for those who've seen it, knows that it's a very, very, very parkour and very acrobatic centric world.
Okay.
Like you got things jumping around, especially the toads.
Screw that. Anything jumping around, I'm not playing it. I can't with that. You know what I like about playing Arizona Sunshine? The way the people walk. They walk like they're zombies themselves. I can't differentiate my fellow players from the zombies when I play in that game. I'm just shooting everything, wasting bullets.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah.
do. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm old and slow. I'm just super old and super slow. I think we lost Nacho. Nacho,
I'm still here.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I thought we lost you. If for some reason you lose and you can't hear us or we can't hear you, just log out and then log back into this call.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just waiting for somebody to ask on my input, but I have never played Dying Light 2, so I can't give you much on there.
Well, if you've played Dying Light 1, it's essentially the same. The only difference with it is the new strain, like I was saying, everyone's infected in the city you're playing in, including you. And if you're away from UV light, so the sun or an actual UV light used, black light or something, you start turning into a zombie. And it's game over for you if you're in a dimly lit area with no sunlight during the day, if you're in there too long. Or if you can't get to a UV lighted area fast enough to basically reset that clock.
Ooh.
So it's Dying Light 1 with another touch. And it sucks. It sucks because one thing I've learned is you have to do a lot of your missions during the night because it is legitimately considered safer to do it at night. So you have to go into the areas where there's all these like sleeping zombies and just sneak through them to get to the item and special stuff that you need for like your upgrades or for the main storyline. I'm just like, man, I hate that part so much.
I have 2 words for that game. Are you ready to hear them?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
You're close. You're close, Nacho. You are so close. It was like, fuck that. No.
Aiko.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Over any of the ways I could die, I feel like I'm going to die Not by zombies, but by not making that jump.
Oof.
Or I'm gonna try and land on like a thing of I'm gonna try and land on a garbage bag and get a bunch of freaking used needles in my back.
Oh my God.
So you're just
Yeah.
gonna contract AIDS and hope that that kills you faster than the zombies, basically.
You know, it's faster than the freaking virus does.
I
Oh,
don't I never understood that. Let's take a quick talk on that. Like Assassin's Creed and everything has a lot of the jump off buildings like land in haystacks and crap like that from high ups, and then stuff like Dying Light, you're just jumping into trash bags and stuff. I'm like, I don't know about you, but people throw a lot of glass and other things away, especially if you jump and land on your back for quote unquote cushioning. I'm pretty damn sure you
Well,
are screwed. If you do
well,
survive
as
it, you're
far
gonna
as
bleed out.
Assassin's Creed, I think that game was like based in the 17 or 1800s, something like that,
Still
when
jumping from
people
high
didn't build
heights,
stuff like that.
into a hay thing. I mean, I think that Game Theory did a video on that. They were like, yeah, no, you would not survive that. You would be
Yeah.
absolutely lucky to survive that
You'd have some broken ribs.
for sure, or a broken back. I mean, you jump into that land on your back and you're paralyzed if you survive. So now you can't be an assassin anymore.
Welcome home, Assassin Vegetable.
Ooh, how about we combine the two? Assassin's Creed plus zombie hunting. You have like the weapons and tools from Assassin's Creed. How effective do you think that would actually be in a zombie apocalypse scenario? Assuming that you keep them sharp and everything, do you really think that would work? I personally
Yeah.
say
No.
I
no.
mean, yes,
Would-
those weapons are very effective, and you can easily take off a zombie's head as long as you have the stamina to put behind it.
Fair. Okay, yeah. That comes down to being able to do it in a less densely populated area, of course, as well. Because sneaking up behind a zombie, in most cases, I personally think that with the decay, that the eardrum and stuff would decay away, which means zombies should not be able to hear you, which means firing weapons and stuff in reality, if the body decays like it normally does, would not actually attract zombies. Now, if they do have any feeling or hearing, if they have healing, that would be a whole nother thing. Let's not even get into that. I think we're screwed. If zombies heal after you shoot them in the head, I think we're better
What
off
is
just
this?
dying.
Wait, what is this? Metal Gear Survive? God, I
You wouldn't be
hate
able to
this game
survive
so
that.
much.
But let's go into like morality, like Fronter and Nacho, specifically for you guys. What would you do? Let's say you got out of your cities, you were able to get like a vehicle and you're armed up, you're headed out to the country somewhere where there's less population, and you come across, say, a family, a man, a woman, a couple kids, and a dog. Would you pick them up, or
Fuck
would
no.
you just leave them there?
I'd leave 'em.
What's in it for me?
Okay, so let's start with Nacho. You said fuck no. What's in it? You said fuck no. Why wouldn't you pick them up?
I would immediately leave them because I only have plans for the people that I'm taking with my survival plans.
That's
We're
fair.
gonna survive, and we don't need anybody else.
Am I in those survival plans by chance? Please, I don't want to die here. I don't want to die in this crappy center.
Now, Fronter, you said fuck no. What's in it for me? Okay, so you would pass them by. Let's say you had a motorhome. You were able to get your hands on a motorhome, and you were getting out of Dodge. You're headed out to the country. You're gonna meet up with some of your friends and try to survive out in the hills of Tennessee or something. And you see a family, a man, a woman, two kids, and a dog. Would you stop and pick them up?
I mean, if it looks like if they can pull their weight, yes. But like, I'm not trying to have someone bum down. Like, if they're able to actively help as a group collective survive, yes, I'll consider it. Now,
You
the
would
dog-
have to stop then. So then you run the risk of them just taking your RV. So I'm going to answer the question
Who
because
says
I wouldn't
Right.
even stop. I would just keep going for a couple reasons. One, you don't know if they've been bitten or if they're going to turn
Don't
into
know
a
if-
zombie in your RV. Two,
Sure.
my RV might be full of the people I'm planning on trying to survive with. So I don't think I would even stop. I would just zoom past them because you can't trust anybody.
Right.
World War Z, World War Z, they stole the motorhome while the people were in the grocery store trying to get medicine for their daughter. So, people just take things from you because I mean,
Right.
I'm gonna get the RV from illegal means. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna go someplace where there's an RV, get the keys, and boom, I'm outie.
Mm.
And so I mean, if I did that, that makes me think that other people would probably take it from me as well. So and then leave me, and then I'm high and dry. So I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna pass them by. Aiko, what would you do?
Honestly, if it depends. I would probably stop and see what's going on with them and see if I could at the very least help them find a vehicle for themselves. I don't know that I would necessarily pick them up. Now, maybe I would pick them up and take them for a short while, and if we find something that they can use, they're on their own. That way I'm not just leaving them to the wild and stuff. They've got kids, they've got an animal and stuff and everything. And so long as they can prove to me their worth and prove to me that they're not going to do anything, I will help them out until I can get them something, and then I would dump
Ooh.
them after that. Because then at the very least, I don't have to live with that feeling of, oh, well, that's a whole family. They got like a little kid and a little daughter, and they might be, 5 or 10 years old or something. They don't. I don't want to just leave a kid to die either. And I'm also not the one that's gonna like steal the child from the parents just because we have a zombie apocalypse on our hands. I'm not gonna be like,
The only
oh,
thing about
well,
the only thing about stopping is that guy could have a gun. He could pull a gun on you
Exactly.
and say,
that
"Hey,
is
I'm
true.
taking your mothership." Or, you slow down and they crawl up top and they pull your top hatch and they jump inside and commandeer it. Then
Yep.
you're out of your
Okay, yeah.
mothership.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
drive
because
by.
that's going to be them for themselves. I mean, once the chaos is out there and people realize that you either have to fight or die, they're going to be people will do things. They will do things, and you got to think this is a man and a woman with their children. They're going to do anything they can to save their kids and their dog.
That's true, and
So
most likely because they have kids, they're not gonna trust you.
yeah, I'm going to zoom on. I'm like, sorry about it. There was a car 5 miles back. Good luck.
I don't think any of us would get too far though, because if we talk about a real apocalypse situation, there are countries just because of what their government did and stuff that have just left their cars and just walked. There is going to be massive traffic jams. And I don't know about you, but an RV can't push through 50 plus cars, hundreds of cars just sitting on the road. And you would have to get your
Okay.
hands on something early enough because if you can keep it well
Okay.
maintained, then it'll keep running. But if you get it like 2 or 3 years later, you might have to do some major repairs to it because it hasn't been running in a while. The engine won't even start more than likely. And that's a reality for cars. You could leave your car sitting out for like a month and it won't start. You know,
What if you go to a base, an army base, and steal a tank?
I personally don't trust the idea of that because in almost every zombie apocalypse movie or show, when they go to an army base, it's bad news, and they have in firstly either an extremely hard time getting out, or it's basically a dictatorship under the army where you follow their rules to the T, or they kill you.
Okay. What's one of the biggest rules that most people establish in a zombie apocalypse? Stay away from crowded areas. Where do you think everybody's gonna go the second shit hits the fan? Where do you think everybody's
Army.
gonna go?
Exactly those
Probably.
places.
Yeah,
People
somewhere
will
where
go to
there's
prisons
people
and stuff for
trying.
sure because those would be one of the most like best places to go would probably be a prison because of how well
Yeah.
fortified they are, but it's also one of the number one places that people would go. Like I mean everyone's like, hey, we have to go to the nearest gun shop. Well, everyone else is thinking that too. They're also thinking go to the nearest pharmacy, get as much medicine as they can. Your best chance
Walmart.
of survival is to not go after that yourself. Sadly, if you want to survive and get away from the stuff, you're going to have to figure out how to like live off the land because you risk being trampled by people. I mean, people die during just like, Black Friday. They get trampled on and killed over toys. Can you imagine people actually trying to survive and getting a hold of guns and stuff? People would be loading them in Walmart and shooting other people just to get out with that gun. I'm not going to personally take the chance if I don't already have it at home and I can't already bring it with me. I'm going to wait at least a while, and then just hope honestly that I could find somewhere that still has something left, or maybe a base that was overrun with zombies that's now not as populated with zombies. There's no more people there because obviously again overrun, but um, you can probably loot their items and get enough stuff.
I think that it would be a good time to learn, figure out how to fly a jet or a helicopter because you're going to need a helicopter. One
Ooh,
of the things I've learned from watching The Walking Dead is like the CRM in The Walking Dead, they have helicopters. They're
yeah.
able to kind of to make settlements and kind of keep control of their area, and they're using that with military equipment and stuff like that. So they either had to get military people. So I'd be trying to recruit like military people, like come with me and try to survive.
Steel
But
says he
I'll
would just
probably
rather
die
die in a
first.
zombie apocalypse.
I think I'd be gone in the first wave of any type of zombie apocalypse because first off, I'm not really good at killing things. I don't know. I mean, and I'm old. I'm like old and I can't run because I'm fat. I'm like old and
Ooh,
fat.
ooh,
I'm not fat
okay.
fat, but every
That
girl thinks they're fat. So
that
there's
reminds
that.
me of the question I asked you. I think the first episode. Um, how willing would you be to kill your own family members and/or best friends if you saw them turned? How quickly could you
Uh,
honestly do it? And this is for both of you guys, Nacho and Fronter. How easily would you be capable of doing that, or not so easily?
Did you hear the snap of them fingers?
Wow.
like
um,
that.
I feel we may have an issue, Psycho. We may have an issue.
That's all good. I don't blame them. I mean, like, like, okay, seriously, you have your mom with you in the zombie apocalypse, your mom gets bit, starts turning, you're going to have to off your mom or get bit yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, like, you can't save them. At that point, I wouldn't, and I think that my kids would know I wouldn't want to be out there being a freaking zombie. Just put me out. Just do it.
Yeah.
I don't want my body out there trying to chase down people and eat animals and people's pets and stuff. And people, no, no. Go ahead and just put me out. Do it. Boom.
Wait, if you remember from the Walking Dead, remember Michonne with her too, her husband and her brother.
Yes.
I can think someone might do that with you.
Oh, Jesus. I don't think so. Well, maybe my youngest. I know Nathan won't make me be a zombie. So I know maybe my youngest, he might do that. I don't know. But I mean, that's no fun to walk around with no bottom jaw and no arms.
True.
No, thank you. Like, go ahead, just pop me a good one right in the brain.
Steel says, I feel like turning into a zombie while still alive would be painful. And yeah, if you think about the fact that let's assume you get bit, and even if it's very light, one, the bite's going to be painful if it broke the freaking skin, especially. Two, the virus works essentially by killing off your organs and your brain before turning you into a zombie, which means that you're probably going to be suffering some pretty excruciating pain and stuff. So if I know someone's bitten, while it would be hard for me to shoot someone that I know, I think I could do it for their sake, and I would hope to God that they would do it for mine. Because I've already had cancer, and that was painful.
I can promise you. I can promise you. If I even think you got bit, I'll do it.
If you think I got bit and I didn't, and you shoot me, I'm gonna come back and haunt your ass. I'm gonna be opening the door and letting the zombies in, like, you fucking shot me. This is what you get. I wasn't even infected.
That's why they call me Aiko.
You better at least let me like take stuff off and be like, look, I'm not bitten. Check all my arms and orifices. I have no marks. Because I will do that in a zombie apocalypse if that's what comes down to. If you're like, I think you got bit. Here, let me take all my clothes off. I didn't. Here you go. Here's the full picture. You better not fucking shoot me just on a thought.
before he can expose himself in front of the small children.
Oh my god. They can go to their rooms first.
Yes.
Well, at that point, you don't have to
Traumatizing those children except for me.
There'll be no police. Police might be zombies. You don't want to be calling them. I think 911 would be overwhelmed to the point where it would collapse the 911 system.
It would, absolutely. Think about it. Think about it.
Could you imagine? You're just sitting there, and all of a sudden your neighbor's trying to come in your window, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no.
Dude, it makes me so glad I don't live back in Arizona.
If
If
my
the zombie
neighbor-
apocalypse
my
started
window
back where I
is-
lived, we had this big ass
Right.
window the size of the wall. Oh my
Oh.
god, that was it was right there in the dining room and stuff. I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, no. Yeah, negative, Ghost Rider. You got to
Yeah.
get someplace secured, like a treehouse.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I think personally one of our best chances of survival would be if we can get out to a secluded area that has like running fresh water, berries or something. We could start cultivating the land. We can farm it and stuff. And cooking is still really easy. You can literally just find like a really good flat stone, limestone or whatever it needs to be, and you can cook on that. Place that on some sticks over a fire, and you could literally like hunt for deer and cook the meat and stuff.
Yeah, and then winter comes, and you're freezing to death in your treehouse.
I'm bringing every blanket I own. Don't worry about that. I'm good. Don't forget,
All right,
if you can build it properly, you can still start a fire in your treehouse. If you utilize like plastic and sand or metal, if you can just get a giant metal bowl like they use for like the little fire pits people put out in the backyard, you can just get a fire pit from like Walmart.
Oh yeah, build a balcony on your treehouse.
Yeah.
Throw a yeah.
Well, I would do it inside only because since zombies supposedly can see, and hear, they would be able to see the light and it would attract them. Even though you're in a treehouse, you know, they may not be able to get in, but now you can't get out if you attract enough of them.
And it doesn't make any sense either. Like when you're looking at the fact that zombies can supposedly see, but the only part of the brain that's actually active, according to The Walking Dead, when they were at the CDC, I think that was season 1, is the only activity in the brain was like literally near the stem. So I don't even know like what part of your brain like runs your eyes, but I'm sure you need more than your stem working for your eyes to like work appropriately. So
Well, right,
I
because
mean,
your eyes are squishy, they would rot away in your head. It's one of the first things to go during decay.
right.
So, like, assuming it's Walking Dead style or essentially any zombie apocalypse style, there, just scientifically speaking, the zombie apocalypse is not possible in a lot of ways. Now, if the body could still continue walking and stuff, but it's still rotting away, the eyes are going to be some of the first things to go. Your eardrums are most likely to go too because of how small they are, and everything inside your body is decaying and rotting away. So they wouldn't be able to see, they wouldn't be able to hear, and technically, literally, you wouldn't be able to feel anything either because your all your nerves have most likely rotted away too. So, if a zombie apocalypse could be real, assuming they still rot away, even if it's at a very excruciatingly slow pace, some of the first things to go would be their major functioning organs, like the heart, the eyes, the things you need that zombies obviously need.
Oh, shit,
Oh,
there's
and
zombies!
Steel, real quick, Steel, no,
Zombies!
you're not in trouble because you're in AZ. The house that I lived in AZ, in Arizona, actually had a big window the size of the dining room wall. That's what I was getting at, is that you could literally step through the window. Several people at the same time could walk through the window if there was no window there. And I'm pretty confident it wasn't like bullet or rocket proof because we didn't have that kind of money. So all it takes is a horde of zombies pushing against it to shatter it. And that can be the same said for a door or almost any barricade you put up, especially if it's hammered in or screwed in with screws.
Right.
Eventually they can push in with enough force. That's why a treehouse would be your best bet. But no, I'm not saying that like Arizona is screwed. I'm just saying the house I lived in would be a bad one to live in because of the size of the window alone. And it was right off the floor. It was right off the ground, like a few inches, so they
I
could have
have to
stepped
get
in.
it out. I want to get my thought out. I want to talk. Sorry.
And I'm going to continue now. I'm kidding.
Listen, because we're going off in a whole different tangent, and I don't want to have to go backwards too far. Because when you were talking about like zombies being dead and stuff, I'm like, okay, so this is totally gross, but it's got to be said, right? So like when people die, like normal people, and they don't turn into zombies, don't they like evacuate their bowels and bladders and stuff when they die?
Well, that's because your body, the muscles and everything in your body just purely relax. So yes, if you haven't used the bathroom prior
Okay,
to your
so
death, you're most likely going to ejaculate your bowels and piss yourself. Yeah.
so listen, so let me
Your
move
bowels?
forward with her. So imagine this. So these people, let's say, didn't have time to finish all their business that day or whatever, and they get bit by a zombie and they die and they come back to life. So basically, you're being chased around by zombies with poopy and pissy pants. That's gross. Just
Hey,
putting it
hey,
out there.
hey, on the good note, not only will you be able to smell them from a mile away just because of their rotting flesh, but you'll know that it's they're getting close when you can start smelling the shit and piss.
Your poop stinks. Off with your head.
You know,
Off with your head. Your poops are
hey,
stinky.
we should become producers and like just make the newest like as realistic of a chance of zombie apocalypse as we can. Just like,
Oh
yeah,
my
they
God, with
found a way
turds
to bring
running
the
down their
body back
leg.
to life, and then as soon as they
Turds
die,
running down their leg.
they shit themselves, they stand back up, and they start all over the place. I don't think that they're smart enough to take their pants off or anything, so that's gonna be bad.
And there's a ton of people out there who just really roll out commando. They don't believe in boxers, briefs, or bikinis. They're just out there just commando. So I mean, they're going to be walking, and turds are going to be a dropping. It's just going to happen.
All of the nudist communities. They're gonna be like the first people to go to, just because they have nothing to protect them.
Just as a tip that I've learned from watching Walking Dead, y'all, is take some magazines, probably Vogue because it's nice and thick. It's got that good paper, and wrap those around your forearms with some duct tape so the zombies can't bite your arms.
Dude, just do leather. It's decently comfortable, and it's not something that is easily bitten through, especially if you get a thicker leather. It may be uncomfortable in like a hotter climate, but get a freaking leather jacket and some leather pants and stuff, and you're basically good. They can't bite through your shoes. And again, with zombies being dead and their whole body rotting away, the sinew and everything holding their jaw together is not going to last long. It's not like they could bite you. The biggest thing you'd have to worry about is even if they get their mouth around you, you don't have an open wound. If you have
Yes.
any open wounds that are not covered and there's saliva or anything, even like piece of skin falls into you and gets in you, you're infected. I don't think biting would be a problem except for right off the bat after like a week. No, even if they could live forever like the zombies in Walking Dead, I don't think that they would be able to bite you. Scratch you? Yes, that's another way. Because the whole thing is the whole body's infected. So if they scratch you and you get a scratch mark or blood or anything and it comes into contact, you are infected.
I think that's how they took out Dale in The Walking Dead. This ode to Dale, man. They ripped him to shreds. Poor Dale. I liked him. He was my RV man. I was like, oh, Dale drives the RV. That's my guy right there. For real. And then, so do we still have Nacho, and Fronter on the call?
We should. Y'all there? Oh boy.
Oh boy, we lost them both. Well, so we're going to continue on, and just you guys log out, log back into the call, and that should get you back in and live, and just interrupt us and let us know that you're here.
Yeah, here.
Awesome.
All right, check. And then
I don't know what happened.
I have no idea
It's-
either. Tell them that they need to get better internet.
I do. Oh, the god.
One day when we're big, we're going to have an amazing production. But for right now, we're just doing it janky style. It's how we
Yeah.
roll around here. Yeah.
So in the context of zombies, I have a question for you. What was the
All
very
right.
first zombie game you ever played growing up?
What was the first zombie game I ever played?
Yes, or zombie movie you watched. Like, what was your introduction to?
Um, I want to say Resident Evil, but I'm not really sure if that was it. I don't know. I don't know what my introduction to it was. It was probably like, middle school or something, people talking about it. When I was a kid, my parents are, those parents, they're like, no, you're not going to watch that. You can watch it when you're older. And I did when I was older, and I probably did when I was younger because my friends were like, hey, we're going to watch a zombie movie or something, or play a zombie related game. But Resident Evil, for one, is definitely one of my favorite franchises. I highly prefer like the books and the games to the movies because the movies just got stupid. That was just
Yeah.
dumb. I
Yeah. Resident Evil is that ridiculous. I'll tell you, like, for me, I can't really remember my first zombie movie or how I got into the zombies, but I will tell you, my first scary movie was The Exorcist, and that movie to this day scares the living daylights out of me.
Ooh.
That's a scary one.
Steele says we don't know how the zombies would actually act if they were real. So question is it like the one fungi that infects ants, or would they just be able to be dead people come to life? Then I don't think that don't think or do anything. We don't even know if they would attack us if it makes you wonder. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's one of
legit.
my favorite zombie series games is The Last of Us, and it was a fungus infection, and it was based off of a fungus that actually gets inside of an ant, and it basically implants itself in the ant, grows out of its head, and controls
Yeah,
the ant. And
yes.
and even scientists have proven that like if it wasn't for the fact that essentially it only does this to ants and a few other insects, this could be highly possible for a zombie apocalypse. And the most likely out of like anything we've discussed so far. And here's the thing, it just controls your brain and basically like makes you brain dead and forces you to do things, which means you're still alive. You're still conscious. Your spirit has not left your body. You are stuck doing what you're doing, and you fucking know it. That would
Controlled by a
suck.
parasitic fungus.
Exactly.
Ew.
Yeah, think about that. I
So
that is already
it's the
proven to
fungus
be
among
like
them.
probably the most effective way to actually make the zombie apocalypse real, according to science, I believe. And they've discussed how if they could effect it, or if people actually took the time, which it wouldn't surprise me if there was a company out there doing something stupid like that, Dying Light, just as an example, and almost any freaking zombie movie, they're experimenting with something and they go, oh, we found out that this could bring dead people back to life. Awesome. And then it somehow escapes into the ventilation, and or they drop it loose in a city or something, and whoops. So
Well,
like a
usually in
fungus, that would
scenarios,
not surprise me.
a scientist gets infected in a locked room, goes all ragey and like breaks the glass, jumps out, bites everybody, and then the next thing you know, boom,
Well, okay, in
raccoon
most
City taking
science
over.
labs it's not regular glass. In most legit science labs, that shit is bulletproof because of what they're studying in there. If it does get out, they will lock the people in the room and let them die because they don't want it getting out. So if a zombie's capable of breaking through that, oh, we are fucked. If they can just
With
bash their
capital
way through
fuck.
freaking bulletproof glass or military grade glass, stuff like that, I don't think we're gonna make it. No, that shit's like two
Yeah,
inches thick and bulletproof. Yeah, or well resistant. Let's be honest. If you shoot it with enough bullets, it's gonna break, and we have
yeah,
proof of
that's some
that.
wacky
But
people.
but again, like if they can break through that, we're fucked.
Ooh, that's like scary stuff right there.
Yeah, but yeah, that brings us to that. But the fungus probably would be the best bet, and that's again scientifically talked about and proven that if we tweaked with it enough, we could essentially probably make it something that could infect someone. But as well as with like 28 weeks later, days later, and even The Last of Us, one of the main characters, the little girl you run around with in The Last of Us, she was bitten like weeks prior, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
it settled in her
They
brain, but
show
it
all
did
that
not
stuff during
control
the
her.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They actually show her getting bit in the Left Behind expansion that takes place during the main
Oh,
game.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I could tell you a
Yeah.
zombie that could definitely break through military glass. And then back when I was asking my question, it also goes with this. Element 115 zombies from the COD Zombies franchise.
I don't
I don't know
know
those.
much about them. I did play a lot of the zombies games, but I was never able to actually beat them and get the story. I just kind of tried to last as long as I could.
Oh, I've been following it for over 10 years now. But okay, my first introduction to zombies was okay. For those who may know, no, COD Black Ops was like the big one.
Hmm.
Well, I was never allowed to really play it, so whenever I went into a friend's house, we would play the campaign. Well, think about little 15-year-old me that okay, I just completed the COD Black Ops campaign. Let's watch the credits, and all of a sudden it goes to freaking Kennedy Castro Mac and freaking Richard Nixon all sitting at a table. Zombies breaking into the Pentagon.
That's a
We
good
had
point.
unknowingly unlocked a map called Five. We can literally play as John F. Kennedy kicking zombie ass in the freaking Pentagon.
Yep, that's a
That
good
was my first
point.
introduction to zombies.
Well, let's also bring it back to if the body is reanimated and dead and not controlled like you are on a normal basis, all of your body's limiters are broken, which means you are capable of doing the things now that you would not normally be capable of doing. However, that also means that because they are not limiting themselves and they are forcing through things so highly, the more they do that, the more damaged all of their muscle tissue gets, which in turn helps it to rot away faster, which in turn means that they become harmless faster.
I don't know. I'm sticking with my original plan and stealing a submarine because I just feel like
Submarine.
that's the best way to survive.
I'm gonna stay out of the water. Thank you for that. I'd rather not drown.
Never in a movie have I seen a zombie swim.
That's wonderful. But in a lot of movies, I've seen a submarine get a hole in it and everybody freaking drowns.
Don't they have like lifeboats?
That's assuming that you don't have system failure and stuff where you can't open the locking mechanism.
I just feel like there's going to be a lot of military ships in the middle of the ocean because zombies don't swim.
I'm just gonna start digging in my backyard and make an underground bunker.
I was about to say, I thought you were about to say that you were going to dig your own grave.
I'll
Is
dig
that
it.
what
I'll dig it, and when we all meet up and I get bit, just plant me in my backyard, please.
Lord have
Yes,
mercy.
then I'll plant apple seed in your stomach. I'll let your body act as fertilizer so we could eat your blood for within the next couple of years.
Oh God! Oh my Lord have mercy!
Oh,
The civil
ooh. You know what? Before we end this, we are at 48 minutes, but let's go for an hour real quick because Steele does bring up a good point. He says, "What if animals can get infected too?"
That's scary. Now, I've seen movies where animals were infected, like a deer. I've seen dogs. I've seen, and honestly, if that happens, we are, extra super screwed. Yeah, without a doubt.
But bringing back to the muscle use and like and all that, if an animal's limiters are off for probably the first few hours to few days, they would be at their most dangerous. But after about a week or longer, because of the rotting away and the fact that they have no limiters, they're capable of using their muscles to the extreme, and they will, just as a
Yeah.
natural instinct. Would they really be that dangerous? The only issue with an animal getting infected now is now we don't have meat we would have to hopefully survive off of fruits and stuff, assuming that the virus has not grown into the trees and plants and stuff,
Yeah, you're
depending
gonna
on the
have to
fungus or
off
whatnot.
right then and there. If I can't eat the meat, I don't even want to mess around because no, 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 no. I'm a carnivore. I
Yep.
cannot be a vegan.
You're not turning to cannibalism. I won't let you.
I need your address, Fronter, just in case, because I need food.
You think
But hey,
I'm
hey,
gonna
hey,
be
hey, 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 we'll pick you
after
up.
my
Hey,
check?
hey,
I
we'll
prefer
pick you up
delivery.
and we'll eat all those assholes. They can be the food.
Okay, but there's one
Ooh,
person we.
and hey, if I've learned anything from the show Hannibal, you can keep people alive and cut off a limb, which means that the
Or
meat
even
never
parts of
goes stale.
like parts of
Ooh,
the
always
brain.
have fresh meat. You cut one limb off at a time. That's smart.
I hope to. Okay,
That's
please don't demonetize us for this or kick us from the
Too late.
channel for talking
Too
about
late. It's
cannibalism.
too late. It's too late.
and I just also want to. I also want to address the fact that we are not sponsored by YouTube.
Yet, and we never will.
We are not sponsored by anybody right now, except for ourselves, essentially.
We are self-sponsored. Elon Musk, we would love you to sponsor us.
Yes, please.
And
Thank
also,
you.
can we please get some of that
Um,
Tesla
okay,
tequila?
so hey, stocking up on meat would be a bad idea because unless you can keep it cold or in like a frozen environment, it would only last you a few days and then it would go rancid, especially in a zombie apocalypse setting and scenario.
Okay.
Electricity is
Here's
going to go
the
out.
thing.
Oh, which reminds me, one more thing. If a zombie apocalypse actually happens, then every nuclear facility in the world is not manned. And if no one knows how to safely shut them down, within a few months, they are going to explode. And we will have Chernobyl on the entire Earth. And Chernobyl is still one of the most dangerously hazardous places in the world right now. I think at most anybody would live a few months to a year because if you don't die by zombies, you will die from radiation poisoning.
Yeah, we talk about Chernobyl, but you forgot about Fukushima,
And Nagasaki.
Okay, well there you go. There,
Nagasaki,
just add on to
Fukushima.
my point. If all of
We
them
get
go
all
off, we have multiple throughout the United States alone. We have multiple in other countries. If all of them just blow up after a few months due to the failure of the systems because no one shut them down, the entire
okay.
world is screwed. Which
All
I don't
right.
I don't know how that would affect zombies, but I know it would affect any living creatures, which means all animals would
Well,
die. Plant life would most likely die, at least for. They
my
said that
idea.
they said that Fukushima and stuff is still good to go for like another 1,000 years, is what they're calculating, or something, before you can go and live there again. And
You
it's
know,
already been like 100.
I think my idea of stealing a submarine, I think is at that point we should get into a submarine and take it to Antarctica and live there.
Okay, what about not being able to breathe the new nuclear radiated air?
But we'll be at the very bottom of the planet, so it'll be all
Yeah.
at the top.
Okay, so you're just going to suffocate. Where are you going to get your oxygen? You have to
We're
go
gonna
back
live.
up to the
It's,
you have to go back up to the surface to refuel oxygen,
You're just
essentially.
gonna put a bunch of straws. You're gonna use a bunch of straws.
And you're just going
yeah,
to breathe in the radiated air.
Yeah.
no, but okay. But listen, I mean, there's no nuclear things in Antarctica,
Okay, but if the
right?
entire world blows up, all the nuclear plants blow up, it is going to spread across the whole world. I mean, it
Except
took them a.
Antarctica.
No, it will still get there. It's still going to be in the air.
I
If
feel
all
like
of the
Antarctica
nuclear
can be
plants.
safe.
It won't. I'm sorry. Sad to say, as much as I would like to be on your side with this because I want to find a survival path in this, I'm trying to also look at this in a logical sense. If all the nuclear major power plants fail and blow up and radiated air goes everywhere, I mean, it's going to be like an atomic bomb going off. And even if you're just outside the blast radius and stuff from the initial force and shock, you are going to be hit with like tons of radiated air.
Well, listen, Aiko, this is what I've got to say. When this ever happens, if it ever happens, and I lead you and we get into a submarine and we're living on Antarctica and you're all alive and not dying from nuclear radiation, I'll accept your apology.
I will happily apologize if that ever happens. But when we get to heaven, because I was right, then you need to apologize. And I will happily accept your apology in heaven.
You must not have gotten the memo. No.
All right. Well, we are at 55 minutes. I think, honestly, do you want to just wrap it up here?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Fronter, we would like to thank you for coming on our show, and Nacho as well. Nacho did have to dip out on us. Thank you for joining us for part 3 of the zombie apocalypse with Everyday Talks with Aiko and Psycho. Don't forget to like our video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified when we get new content. Thank you for joining us. And I believe next week we have what coming?
Shoot, we could do one tomorrow or Tuesday. The sad thing is, I told you I might be losing this job, so
Man,
clickbait
that
ads.
sucks. Secret shoppers blow. I've had them come in on one of my leasing girls that went a long time ago and it's like she didn't visit my property. I'm like, I argued the whole thing and got it taken off her record. We had to reshopped and she did fine. So
Yeah.
those things happen. These shoppers aren't always accurate. They don't just sit in their car and write everything down.
Yeah.
And I think the one that shopped my girl literally had gone there and then gone somewhere else and got the two confused because I was like, I've never seen her do any of these things.
Fair enough. But yeah, all right, guys. Next episode is clickbait ads and essentially why they suck.
Oh boy, clickbait ads. That's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, fun.
Wait! I have a question for this one. Should you guys use a clickbait a freaking clickbait thing for your guys' picture for the video?
Well, if I can find like a free stock photo, then sure, I could do that. Yeah.
Don't forget, we have to have that big red circle around it pointing to something random.
Oh yeah. And
All
we'll just title the episode something crazy like, "Wow, we've already got 2 million subscribers."
Gone wrong, gone sexual.
We gotta all get together and do Arizona Sunshine. Maybe tomorrow or tonight or something.
Yeah.
I can.
I'm gonna stop the stream. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and click the notification bell for more updates on when we stream and or when that video is finished streaming and uploaded. And I hope you have it all. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Better late than never.